In this video, let's take a closer look at Clayton from Tarzan, one of the film's more complex characters.
Where are the gorillas? Gorillas! Gorillas!
He really represents greed and that old colonial mindset where people thought they could dominate nature. His character sheds light on the darker side of exploration and adventure during that period. Interestingly, we don't know much about his background. It's hinted that his full name is William Cecil Clayton, but the movie never really confirms it, leaving a bit of mystery around him. When we first see Clayton in the movie, he's introduced as the bodyguard and guide for Professor Archimedes Q. Porter and his daughter Jane.
Sorry, excuse me. But my father and I came on this expedition to study gorillas, and I believe your shooting might be scaring them off.
You hired me to protect you, Miss Porter, and protect you I shall.
At first glance, he seems like a helpful guy who's there to keep them safe from dangerous animals and help them navigate the tricky jungle. However, as the story unfolds, we quickly realize that Clayton's interests go far beyond mere exploration. While Professor Porter is fascinated by the wildlife and the scientific discoveries to be made, Clayton is focused solely on his own goals. He's not interested in studying the gorillas or learning about the jungle's ecosystem. Instead, he sees this adventure as a perfect opportunity for personal gain. His real intention is to exploit the jungle's resources, whether it's animals for profit or other valuable materials he can find. It's pretty obvious that Clayton has a background in hunting and trapping wild animals. You get the feeling he's probably worked as a poacher before. He's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to firearms, and he knows all the tricks for tracking and capturing animals. He carries himself with the confidence of someone who's done this kind of thing many times. One of his biggest strengths, and something he uses to his advantage, is his ability to be a smooth talker. He's always polite and well-mannered, which helps him maintain a respectable appearance. He puts on this front that makes people trust him. But underneath all that, he's actually totally ruthless, cunning, and completely self-centered. He'll do whatever it takes to come out on top. He's a master of manipulation, but he's also surprisingly charismatic when he needs to be. He knows how to charm people and get them to do what he wants. It's all part of his plan. So, when he finally comes face to face with the gorillas, his reaction isn't one of amazement or respect for these incredible creatures.
Our dream has come true.
He doesn't see them as part of the natural world. Instead, he immediately sees them as a valuable commodity. In his mind, capturing a whole troop of gorillas alive would make him unbelievably rich, and that's the only thing that matters to him. His greed completely blinds him to the gorillas' intrinsic value and their place in the ecosystem. It really shows you what kind of person he truly is. Clayton puts on this whole act of being on Jane and Professor Porter's side because he knows they're his ticket to the gorillas. Since they're there to explore the gorillas and take pictures for their research, Clayton just tags along, pretending to be helpful. He noticed that Tarzan had strong feelings for Jane, and that Jane was getting ready to leave because she couldn't find the gorillas she was studying. Clayton saw an opportunity and decided to take advantage of it. He knew that Tarzan would do anything for Jane, so he used her unhappiness to his benefit. By playing on Tarzan's emotions and Jane's desperation, he managed to trick Tarzan into revealing the exact location of the gorillas. The moment Clayton gets what he wants, the location of the gorillas, his true colors come out in a big way. He completely drops the pretense of being a civilized, polite guy and turns incredibly violent and ruthless. This sudden shift happens as soon as he realizes the gorillas are within his grasp, and he can finally make his fortune by capturing them. His greed completely takes over. His death is without a doubt one of the most disturbing and unsettling villain's death scene in any Disney film. During the final showdown with Tarzan, things got really intense, and both of them ended up caught in a mess of tree vines high up in the jungle. Tarzan, being the master of the jungle, managed to use the vines to his advantage, trapping Clayton. But Clayton, in his rage and desperation to escape, wasn't thinking clearly. He pulled out his machete and started slashing wildly at all the vines surrounding him, completely reckless. Tragically, in his frenzy, one of the vines coiled tightly around his neck without him noticing. As he finally severed the last of the vines holding him, he plummeted downwards. The vine around his neck snapped taut, and he ended up hanging himself. The movie doesn't show the actual moment of impact for obvious reasons, but a flash of lightning illuminates the scene, revealing his shadowed corpse hanging lifelessly from the tree. It's a really creepy and disturbing image that stays with you. Clayton's character ultimately represents those individuals who view the natural world as nothing more than something to be conquered and exploited for profit, rather than something to be respected, protected, and cherished.